Welcome back to the deep dive. If you've ever felt caught between what you have the absolute right to do and what you feel you probably should do for other people, then, well, you're going to get today's topic. We're diving into a set of sources that tackle this really persistent ethical puzzle. How do you use your personal freedom without, causing harm or just confusing everyone around you?
It's that classic tension, isn't it?
Yeah.
The individual versus the community. And our sources today, they dig into this idea we're calling inconsistent consistency.
Which sounds like a contradiction.
It does. But the core idea is that sometimes acting in a way that looked inconsistent to an outsider, changing what you do from one moment to the next, is actually the highest form of consistency.
Because you're sticking to a single higher principle.
Exactly. A steady principle of prioritizing the good of other people.
The insights we're pulling from today come from a reflection by Pastor Hu Zikang, and he's drawing a lot on Warren Wiersbe's materials. It's all anchored in a really powerful passage from 1 Corinthians chapter 10.
Right. And our mission today is super practical. We're going to unpack this principle, and then we're going to apply it to a fascinating and often really heated modern cultural conflict.
The controversy around public transit seats in Taiwan.
The priority seats. It's the perfect example of where legal rights just slam right into moral responsibility.
Okay, so let's unpack this idea of consistency. The sources kick off by looking at historical figures, like the Apostle Paul, who, he must have seemed all over the place.
Completely contradictory. One day he's following Jewish dietary laws to the letter, won't touch certain foods.
And the next?
He's sharing a meal with Gentiles, eating whatever's put in front of him. If you were just watching his actions, you'd think he was unreliable.
But the source uses this brilliant analogy to clear it all up.
The weather vane. It's perfect. Think about it. A weather vane points east, then west, then north. It's never still. So if you judge it just by the direction it's pointing,
it is, by definition, inconsistent.
Absolutely. But its purpose is what matters. Its greatest purpose is to always point in the direction the wind is currently blowing.
So its consistency isn't in the action, it's in the principle.
That's it, exactly. Paul was the same. His action changed. Eating this, not eating that, but his guiding principle was constant. He was always trying to build other people up to act out of love, even if that meant he looked different in different situations.
And this all starts by recognizing that we have freedom in the first place. The source reminds us that this freedom comes from knowledge, right? The truth setting you free.
Knowing your rights, your legal standing, that's the foundation. But, and this is the crucial part, that freedom, that knowledge, has to be balanced by love.
For moral responsibility.
Right. Because without that love, that knowledge, just asserting your rights, can be used to tear people down instead of building the community up.
And that's the maturity check, isn't it? It's not just about having the freedom, but knowing how you're supposed to use it when you're around other people.
And we often think the mature person is the one who knows their rights the best. But this source is suggesting, no, the mature person is the one who knows their rights, but then chooses to prioritize the benefit of others.
Okay, this is where it gets really, really interesting. We hit this ethical speed bump, the text that defines the limits of our freedom. It's 1 Corinthians 10, verses 23 and 24.
All things are lawful, but not all things are helpful. All things are lawful, but not all things build up. Let no one seek his own good, but the good of his neighbor.
And that's the part people forget.
So often, they grab onto that first part. All things are lawful, yes, I have the right, and they just ignore the rest.
Qualifiers.
And qualifiers. Is it helpful? Does it build anyone up? Just because the law allows it doesn't mean it's the right choice in that moment.
And that puts two worldviews in direct contrast. First, you have the standard societal view.
Yeah, the focus on individual rights. The source sums it up with that phrase, if I like it, why not? It's this hyper-individualism where the only standard is what you want and what you can legally get away with.
And the source says that leads to, well, chaos.
It does. But the faith view, or you could say the communal view, it flips the focus entirely. It's not what can I get away with, it's how can my actions actually help the people around me?
It moves from legal individualism to moral communalism.
That's a great way to put it. It asks a really tough question of us, actually. Can you think of a time when doing the right thing for the group made you look inconsistent?
Yeah.
Or even weak to people who only value asserting their own rights?
That happens at work all the time. You choose to help a colleague finish a project, even though you have every right to just clock out and go home, and other people might see you as a pushover.
Right. Your action staying late looks inconsistent with your right to leave, but your principal collaboration is perfectly consistent.
And this all leads us perfectly into the practical application, the case study.
The public transit seating in Taiwan is such a brilliant example of this friction between what you're entitled to and what the moral choice is.
So for years, these seats were called Bo-ai seats.
Which means loving care seats. A beautiful name.
But they recently changed it to just priority seats. And it wasn't just some bureaucratic tweak. The change happened because of conflict.
Constant conflict. The seats are for people who obviously need them, elderly, pregnant, people with disabilities. What was happening was that young people, students or commuters, would be sitting there, and someone older would come and aggressively demand the seat.
Not ask for it, but demand it.
Exactly. Public shaming, verbal attacks,
Right.
even physical fights. It was all over the news. And the root of it wasn't the law, it was entitlement. This sense of, I deserve this, even though every single person on that train paid for a ticket and had an equal right to be there.
And this is where those two ethical frameworks from the source come in. They're fascinating.
They really are. For society, for making rules, the flow should be law, then reason, then emotion. You need structure first.
But for you as an individual making a choice in the moment,
It flips, completely flips. It's emotion first, compassion, empathy for the person standing there. Then reason, am I well enough to stand? And only last do you consider the law to go, I have a right to this seat.
so legally that priority seat has no mandatory enforcement. Anyone can sit there.
Anyone. But the moral decision, starting with compassion, is to willingly give it up to anyone who looks like they need it more than you do.
And the pastor points out this incredible irony about the people causing the confrontations.
Oh, it's so sharp. He says, the ones who are yelling the loudest, who are physically aggressive, often seem to be in the best health. They have strong voices, a lot of energy.
They seem the least in need of care.
Exactly. And what's more, the source adds this amazing cultural detail that many 80-year-olds in Taiwan don't even think of themselves as old. They'll refuse the seat if you offer it.
So the conflict is driven by a very specific mindset.
A small group insisting on their rights, pushing against everyone else's voluntary kindness. And we even see this spilling over into new regulation.
Right, this idea of emotional blackmail.
Yes. On the long-distance trains, they actually banned standing tickets.
To stop this exact problem.
It was specifically to protect passengers who paid for a seat for, say, a 3-hour journey, to stop them from being pressured by someone with a cheap standing ticket to give up the seat they paid for. Society had to step in with a rule to protect the people who were already following the law.
So when we pull it all together, what does this mean for us? Whether it's a seat on a train or a decision at work, the challenge is always to use wisdom, to move past just our rights.
And to prioritize kindness. The source applies this directly to the workplace. It says we have to throw out that whole old bird preys on the new bird mentality.
Using your seniority to take advantage of people.
Instead, you should use your experience to guide and build up the people who need help. That's your consistent principle in action. That contribution is the constant.
The source ends with this beautiful image, that the world is round, highs and lows are temporary. But if you hold on to integrity and kindness, your influence is constant.
Like the sun. It brings light and warmth, no matter what the weather is doing on the ground.
Okay, so let's distill the key takeaways for you as you're thinking through this. First, real consistency is about your principal love, building others up, not your specific actions.
Second, your freedom always has to be balanced against how it benefits your neighbor.
And third, and this is the big one, having a legal right doesn't cancel out your personal choice to act with compassion. The most ethical choice might be to act inconsistently with your own rights.
It's a huge shift because it puts all the responsibility back on you, not on some external rulebook.
So a final thought to leave you with.
The source mentions that the northeast monsoon can bring harsh wind and rain, cold temperatures. If we're supposed to be like the sun, giving warmth even when the environment around us is harsh, when people are aggressively asserting their rights, where are you holding back your kindness today, just for the sake of holding onto a right you know you're legally due?
That is a deep question for all of us. Thank you for sharing these sources for this deep dive. We really encourage you to keep exploring how to use wisdom and love in your own life.
Choose to be helpful. Choose to build people up.
We'll catch you next time on The Deep Dive.